Hi. Yes, it's been quite an eventful few weeks since I've actually returned from my overseas trip. Not the sort of events I would have wanted, but that's life for you. It can throw you some curveballs. And in my case, there have been some rather traumatic ones that have come from left field. To put it succinctly, when I got back from overseas, I was pretty well exhausted. You can tell from the previous videos that I had a pretty rough time on this particular trip. It wasn't exactly an ideal experience, but that was nothing compared to what was about to hit me just at the end of Easter, after about half a week or so back in Cairns. That news was literally devastating and totally unexpected. I mean, as you know, I had my leg badly burnt while riding on the back of a crazy moto taxi guy in Saigon. That was bad enough and extremely traumatic when it happened. Luckily, that particular injury seems to be healing fairly well, and I may not even have a scar, so that's great. But then I actually also had the hassle of being hit by that sandwich board in Spencer Street, Melbourne. I mean, totally unexpected sort of injury to occur. The wind just whipped up and this board was not secured. Not a large board, of course, because couldn't be large because it was actually lifted by the wind, but it just, one of the struts holding it on the ground just happened to wedge itself into the back of my foot, causing me a cut, which I showed you on the Sky Bus. That's just stiff, but it's just been indicative of this particular trip. But like I said, that was just kiddie stuff compared to what happened about halfway through the Easter break. I got this incredibly intense itching in the eyes, especially my left eye. And I just felt like I had some sort of an inflammation. There's some sort of pollen in the air this time of year in Cairns, and I haven't actually been in Cairns this time of year before. So I just assumed that it was some sort of inflammation that I was experiencing, and I just was rubbing my eyes really vigorously. They were itching really badly, and it just didn't seem to be getting any better. And then I had an incident early the week after I'd arrived back in Cairns. I think it was on the Monday night, Monday or Sunday night, not exactly sure. But I was just watching TV, and all of a sudden a floater just went across my eye, and that's sort of like a streak of smoky, sort of greyish smoke type of drifting across the eye, across the vision. Obscuring it for about 5 minutes, and then it cleared, and it freaked me out quite a bit. I don't know, I hadn't had that happen to me before. So that wasn't great. And then the itching continued on, and I kept rubbing. And then I started to get this little red sort of masking at the bottom of my left eye. And I was starting to get a little worried. And I actually went in on a Monday, which is the public holiday Monday after Easter, to the GP, and there's only one GP on, and they had about 3 people waiting. So unfortunately, I decided to pass on that. And for some reason, I didn't actually go. Things didn't improve on the following Tuesday, and I didn't go out and see anybody then. And I finally caught up with the GP on Wednesday. I'm not quite sure why I delayed it for that long, but the GP just said, look, go to Specsavers and get your eyes tested. And I got that arranged early in the afternoon on Wednesday, and the woman who did the actual test for me, she said that she thought there could be a problem with the retina in my left eye, and that freaked me right out, and referred me directly over to Cairns Hospital. So I had to go then to the emergency section of Cairns Hospital on the Wednesday, and I got to see a specialist about an hour later. And they confirmed that the retina had indeed shifted, and that I needed to go to Townsville ASAP to see a specialist, because no one in Cairns I needed to have an operation, and no one in Cairns was capable of carrying out that operation. So they actually arranged for me to fly out at 6:30 the following morning. So I went to the Cairns airport, and I got onto a Dash 8, which is a twin prop plane that they use for services between Cairns and Townsville, because obviously they don't have anywhere near the traffic that, say, between Cairns and Melbourne or Sydney or one of the big hubs. So they use a small plane. So it took 45 minutes to get to Townsville. That was all fine. I got the taxi there and I got to see the specialist, and about early afternoon finally had the proper examination there, and unfortunately discovered that I just got in there a little too late, and that the retina had shifted across to the macula. And what that meant was that instead of having that operation on that Thursday when I got to Townsville, they said there was no rush now. We'll reschedule it for Wednesday, which seemed rather counterintuitive to me, considering my situation had deteriorated. So then they'd had a more cavalier approach to the actual operation. So basically, I then had to come back on a nighttime flight on a Rex aircraft, which is even smaller than the Dash 8 and another twin prop, and I got back to Cairns, and I was in limbo, and knowing that my eyesight was going to deteriorate in the left eye, which is my best eye, until the Wednesday when I was scheduled for the follow-up operation. So it wasn't a happy time, I've got to tell you. And so the video that I have showing you now is actually my second trip to Townsville from Cairns, and this is when the operation did take place, thank God. But not a happy time. And I'm still freaking out, and I still haven't got my eyesight back in the left eye, and it looks as though I'll be lucky to get 50 to 60% of my eyesight back in that eye. So this has not been a happy outcome, and it's a cautionary tale to anybody who has any health issues. Get onto it straight away. Do not delay. For some unknown reason, I didn't get in on it on Tuesday. I should have just gone to Specsavers. I could have got that test done then, and if it had been done 24 hours earlier, chances are it wouldn't have moved to the macula, and I would have had a full recovery. So that's the cautionary tale from me. Do not stuff about with your eyesight.